TwoUglyMugs PodCast, yeah. This station brought to you by TwoUglyMugs PodCast, yeah. Don't look at us in the eye, it'll terrify you. TwoUglyMugs, yeah. TwoUglyMugs PodCast. TwoUglyMugs, yeah, podcast. This station's brought to you by TwoUglyMugs PodCast, yeah. This station's brought to you by TwoUglyMugs PodCast. This station's brought to you by TwoUglyMugs PodCast. This station.
Yo.
What's going on, everybody? It's been a while since we've been on here.
It's been a long while.
Yeah, but yeah, there's been a lot that's going on out there lately, and I'm really fucking high.
We're ready to discuss these issues.
Yeah,
More than ready.
I don't know.
Probably too ready.
So, I mean, this is really the first video that we've done in a really long time, so we're a little bit out of the swing of things.
I'd say.
Yeah, but we just...
Oh man, let's squeeze in here a little more, get a little more camera angle in there. There we go. Yeah. We're back though. Anyways, that's all that matters. So we're gonna start this off. I kinda want, should we play this video? I kinda wanna.
What? Oh,
should we?
I don't know. Fucking...
If there's no sound on anything, YouTube will flag it.
I don't
know.
We might, man.
Oh shit.
I don't know if it's a good idea or not.
Alright, well,
I don't know if we're allowed to do
anyways.
YouTube fucking thumbs up. We just got kicked off.
It's all good. No, this is the Olympics, man. They can't kick us off for the
Think
Olympics.
this is the Olympics. So what are we showing? Why are we showing this? Why do you want to show this video?
It's just the start of the podcast, that's all.
Show a random ass video. We just want to show her fucking shorts.
Well, this is intense. This is the Olympics, all right?
I don't think that it is.
We can take. You can't take your.
I really don't think that this.
It
is
says Olympia.
Where?
All right. Down at the bottom.
No, it doesn't.
All
I don't
right.
see Olympia.
Well,
anyways.
it was good enough, anyways.
You're fucking.
So, anyways.
You're fucking high. Close that shit out.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the podcast. We got a lot to talk about. If you don't know who we are, this is Donnie over here.
Yeah.
And I'm Colton. And we're here to discuss some issues. No, not
Just
really.
really,
We
we're
just
just
like to
discussing
do stuff.
Shit, we just want to talk, you know. So cool. When I got here today, you were telling me just the other day that you had a situation.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was a situation and a half.
All right. Well, so walk me through this situation and everybody.
So basically,
that's
if anybody's
watching.
had like an out of body experience, I kind of like had something like that. It was really intense.
What caused
like
this out of body experience?
Well, I had smoked some of the devil's lettuce, let's say.
Devil's lettuce. I like that. But it makes it sound like it's such a terrible thing.
Okay, well, whatever. So
like something that's so beautiful to send you on some sort of out of body experience. Like it's like a miracle.
I don't know. It was
I think
it was
God-
kind of
God
weird. It was just
performs
this weird
miracles,
feeling
not the
where it was
devil.
like I kind of like felt like I was looking at myself in another perspective almost, like looking at myself directly. And it really fucked me up because it was like. It was weird. It was really a weird ass feeling where it was like you just feel like you could see yourself, but you're not. You're not there. Like I was standing in my hallway just down over here, and it was like I could almost see myself, but it was like, but it wasn't because it was like I don't know what it was because like you know I got a high tolerance. So for me it was just crazy because I just never felt anything like that before. It was a really weird, crazy ass feeling.
Did you feel like you were losing your mind?
Oh, dude, my head was like... I just felt like I wasn't... My head just went... Whew. It was like my mind was gone, like, completely. Like, I just wasn't me. It was like I could just see myself standing there saying something, like hello or something, and I was like... Because it was weird how I could kind of hear it differently. It was like... It was weird, man. I don't know. Something different.
I've had that happen to me 2 times in my entire life, and I've been smoking pot since I was 13 or 14 years old. And
Donald's getting some free like advertising.
the first
you gotta
time
pay for that. You gotta pay for that.
the first time that I ever fucking felt that way, I was smoking pot, and I don't know, I was like 13 or 14, and I was smoking pot with this guy that was quite a bit older than me, and I was supposed to be babysitting his kid. Yeah, and it sounds bad. I was a kid. I didn't know any better myself. Anyways, so and my sister came in on me, and she was like, "Whoa, like you're not smoking pot, are you?" And the guy's like, "Oh no, not with him or anything." And I'm like, "No way." But like I'm high as a kite at this point in time, so I'm just sitting on the couch listening to her talk, and my heart's just like, and I'm like, pat my pants, and I'm like, "Oh, like I don't know where my keys are. I lost my keys. I gotta get out of here and go and find these things." So I up and I left. And I'm with a buddy of mine. I head down the street, and I just, like, my mind went on a journey. I felt like I was in like a dream. I was walking down the street, and, like, it was all foggy, and it was like I was, like, almost watching myself, or, like, over my shoulders as I'm, like, walking down the street, or, like, watching myself from all around. It was, like, yeah. Like,
yeah,
it was,
it's
like,
this weird feeling.
Yeah, like, it's hard to explain unless you've been there, but it was so scary. Like I thought I was losing my mind, and that like 100%. I was never gonna come back. Like I was gonna live my life in a fucking cartoon for the rest of my life or something. Like like I just lost it, and that was a scary feeling. But and then it happened to me again a handful of years later. Like these are intense. Like this isn't how you feel when you get high all the time. Like this is like once in a while, maybe once ever kind of thing. Like when you just get, I don't know what the hell it is. Like just blast it off. Just puts you in a different like
it just
psychological
put me like
realm.
It was like the way like I don't know. I just felt it kind of like sitting in my like chest, and it was just like it's just the way it wouldn't come out. It just felt like it was heavy, and then it was like I don't know, man. It was still such a weird feeling that I just like almost can't put it off being like. I don't know, man. Like, am I like fucking like dying or something? Like,
no, it's literally almost
like telling me it's like, dude, you're fucked.
It's like, almost like a spiritual experience. And I'm not religious by any means. I don't think I died and went to heaven or anything like that. But like, it's like it's like you got like a an ultra perspective.
Yeah,
like an ultra perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And
100%.
Yeah, and I mean, like you don't get like that every time, but when it happens, like the first time it scared the shit out of me, but the second time it happened to me, I just got really, really, really high. Like I took this one really big toke, and when I blew it out, it felt like my whole fucking mind went with this toke, and I was just hovering. My essence was in the room, like watching everything. I'm playing like Crazy Eights or something, and every time. Like a play came to me, I was literally just laying down a card like a robot and watching other people, and they're talking. It was just ambient noise all around me, like white noise, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like I have no idea what the fuck is going on right now. But like I knew because I'd been there before, like just relax and go with it, because this is you got yourself into this, and time will get you out of
it. Yeah.
But like it's a weird feeling, and like it's just I don't know if it comes from like super deep, ultra like introspective like views or whatever, or thinking that get you there. It's like almost like you see so much inside that it's like you've stripped yourself down, you're looking at somebody else from the outside. I don't know, it's
you get like I don't know,
it's pretty,
I agree,
it's intense though.
It just such a weird feeling. It's like I just never
it's
like that before, where it was like
it's like you go to another,
it like blew my entire like mind.
Yeah, it's
my perspective.
It's almost like you're like I don't know, like maybe you get to watch yourself from like every angle. Like you're almost experiencing yourself from every single paradigm at one time.
Even like here though, when you're like looking at yourself, even through like the camera and shit, it's like I didn't even feel like that. It was like it was way more different.
No, it's literally like you're experiencing yourself from every paradigm or like dimension of existence
around you. That's
like
similar, but it's not the same thing.
Like a quantum.
Similar, but not the same thing.
I don't know.
By one molecule.
Maybe. Oh, shit.
One little draft. the butterfly effect, right? Kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Be insane if they kind of like prove that shit though, right? Like
The different
Like,
realities and shit. They can do
yeah.
that with quantum computing maybe someday, no?
that's what, yeah. That's what you were talking about earlier there before the podcast. Here, talking about quantum computing
Yeah.
and how insane it is, and like the possible like
Infinite
unlocking
possibilities.
of like different things and
Fucking like
the
you could,
whole
like,
new like thinking,
yeah,
like a whole new like literally like thinking,
artificial
and, like,
intelligence. Like it could like
yeah, but I don't
predict-
even think even before like artificial intelligence, man. I feel like quantum computing on itself, on its own, and like the capabilities of it are like, AI is just a byproduct of that. I think it's just way more than that in terms of quantum computing and what the
Do you think it
possibilities
gets
of
like
that can
time
do.
travel and like
Oh, it's
alternate dimensions and
Absolutely,
shit like that?
absolutely. It's very
Yeah.
possible. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities, especially with what they've been doing with it. And like I said, the rate of the growth of quantum computing, and all of a sudden, like, this shit's been around since like the 60s and shit, in the 70s. Like all the math towards all this stuff was done way before like processors and all that were actually conceived to start actually like doing it. Like, now that we have this shit, the math's already done. Like, the facts are there. It's just now actually putting it into test, putting it into reality,
Yeah.
which they've completely done.
Yeah.
And then but even beyond that, by the capabilities that they don't even really realize still what they're kind of doing. It's kind of still testing.
yeah,
the
they're
math
just-
is
yeah,
still there, and
they're
they've
just
proven a lot of the math,
scratching the surface,
and that's
though.
why a lot of it's like come down to like where before like people like that were talking about quantum computing and shit like that would just get laughed at. Like it didn't make sense to people that were just still on the zeros and ones.
It still doesn't like make sense necessarily, but they could prove it. You know
Well,
what I mean?
it is proven, and it
Yeah.
does make sense to the people that
To
are
them,
that
yes,
are
yes,
that are
but
actually
it's just,
experts
it's so
in
complicated.
yeah, it's very complicated, and
Yeah.
it's still like there's still a lot of mystery behind it. But they know a lot as well. They know a lot more than what they're sharing, and the rate of growth that these fucking things are seeing is just not like.
Well,
The like basically by the end of it, it will be at one point a conscience, but that's what it'll work towards.
yeah. Well,
But the way that it works towards it is just the art, like the structure of it.
yeah.
The structure, it's like, even like they were saying, it's like going from like the architecture went from like being like a 32-bit to a 64 in a matter of a year.
Yeah.
And it took a fucking like 20 years, over a 20-year span, like probably maybe not quite, well, maybe around there, like 10 to 15 year span to go from a 32-bit processor to a 64 and have that adopted as mainstream, right?
Yeah.
So they did that within a year, basically, in terms of the computing power, right? And that was like a couple of years ago now, right? Like, now they're getting into shit where it's like 128 qubits and for every, it's a lot of shit that is like, it's like for every kind of like qubit like that can simulate a reality, and then can also simulate 5 other realities within that one reality. So
Yeah.
or 5 times that, I can't remember what it is, something like that. So every qubit they have, they can essentially do like 20 times the amount of reality simulation, basically, is what they're doing. And that's exactly what it is. That's how it's structured, is that they're literally the alternate versions of everything,
Yeah.
completely similar in every aspect except for whatever it is that they're trying to test, and whatever that is. Whether that's they want to remove this, particle and move it into something else and be able to see or simulate different bacterias and effects on that. It's endless possibilities and simulations.
With, like, reality, like could they change like certain things about how you perceive like reality?
It's a possibility. It's not without depending on how this actually like functions, because they still don't really know, is like they know but they don't really know, but it's on how this is going to affect the things that they're actually doing and what they implement it into.
Do you know what they've been able to like test? Like, what theories have they been able to prove with that?
Well, like I said, that's exactly what they're doing, is that they're simulating alternate versions of reality, basically, of what we know of reality. Like I said, of what we know.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
program.
Can
they
you
basically
do a demonstration? Like, do you have an idea? Can you describe something?
I couldn't. Well, okay. Like if you're talking about like the laser thing,
Sure.
The double slit theory. But if you know anything about quantum theory or anything like that, the double slit theory is very popular. Which actually, like Donnie, I don't think you even see anything about that. But the double slit experiment here.
And
So I don't want to like. I don't know. It's probably not gonna make sense without sound, but I can't. I don't want to play that on there, right?
This might be something that you can.
Many bands. Good.
But yeah, okay, so there it is. Basically, this is what it is. This is exactly kind of the idea. Okay, so
So now, similar to the line the marbles make. Line with the slit. An electron is a tiny,
Basically,
tiny
there's-
bit of matter.
Just describe it. And
Look.
show the video after.
well, basically, look. Okay, so they're shooting protons through one slit. It comes out as one slit, as you would think.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you shoot this
We should get
and just shoot random ones at that one, it becomes a wave function. And that's what they call that, is a wave function. That's how the fucking particles will spread across it between two slits. Okay, you would expect it would come out with two slits.
Yeah.
But it doesn't function like that, if you can clearly see this. And actually, over time, you'll hit like around here as well. There'll be different versions of them all through those different waves, basically. But it generally creates a pattern like this. Just if you were to put four slits in front of that, it would look like that, and it would be like X's and shit. It looks all fucked up.
Show it up here on the thing. You can do that.
I don't think we can do that like that. But what I could probably do is do like do this and like do an image or something. Something
Yeah,
like
there you go.
this.
Sure, show that.
Yeah, that'd pretty much be like what you need to do, like
Yeah.
Wikipedia almost kind of shit, right? Like,
Yeah. It's like a.
So basically, like that, it's kind of hard to see. So double slit. Okay, so this is it right here, right? Like, even on the single slit experiment, you can still see that like some of these fucking light variations are kind of landing out up outside of that one, and you'd think it would just go right through and just shine as a straight light.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It should. Just like the double slit, same thing.
Yeah.
You can see these wave functions where it's completely
so do you think
different
that
from
shows like potential cause or proof of like linear dimensions or paradigms?
Well, okay, what's
So,
this?
like-
Okay, no, okay,
like
Donnie.
each
Okay,
bar of-
this
of
could
light-
this could be whatever how you interpret it, but basically what this does say, in fact, is that a proton, at the point that you measure it, that is when it decides its place in origin in space and time.
Okay.
You think you could fire a proton down and it'd be linear.
Yeah.
Okay, you fire one down and it's just gonna right, especially if it has velocity on it. You're shooting it down, right? Or you measure it like a light source like this, right? It's
Yeah.
shooting down, right? But you know for a fact that it's not, because it's shining in a different wave function or an order, like a pattern that resembles somewhat of a wave. Because if you look at it, it slits, right? And it could be like a wave up and down, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they call the wave. And it becomes down to wave function. That's gets down to string theory and all that kind of shit, right? Like, and that's where the multi-dimension shit comes around, and where quantum computing kind of takes that idea and kind of builds upon it to simulate a reality and change what you want to change in that reality to know what the outcome is going to be. Because if you can do that and then predict that and watch it and grow it, you know what I mean? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't have to be a real reality, even if you do it in a virtual way,
Yeah.
right? It's the function of that is crazy. But with this, basically what they're saying is like, a particle, you have to think of a particle not as a like thing that you can like visually inspect and see like it's round and it's got this many electrons and all that shit around it, right?
Yeah.
It's more like a cloud. It's more like a cloud, and that's kind of like the way to explain it, is that the way that like these electrons and shit interact, they're all kind of clouds, like fronts of storms almost, like.
Yeah.
But you can still measure at whatever point in time to see how many are there, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thing where
That
they
mass
can
could
be
change.
They can be there, but generally the way to think about them is like clouds. But you can know, like, they're only like, they're still a thing. They're like, they're tiny, but they're like, obviously microscopic, but smaller than that even. Yeah. Atomically. But anyways, going off on string theory and all that, like, it's just something to look into, and it starts to tickle the mind hole because it gets you into the whole AI thing as well. If you get quantum computing, and it'll build up upon that, because if you're able to program, think about it. If you can
program it to think,
we already have kind of that as well.
Search.
This is the thing.
Search for answers.
Exactly. You don't even have. You literally don't even really have to have it to really think. All you have to do is have it to go out there to go and find ways to think through quantum computing and be able to simulate every possibility of every way that the AI could form. Yeah. You don't even have to know if AI can form, like, how to do it. You just have to write a program that could go out and simulate ways to actually optimize AI for itself. Yeah. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to program none of it. You just have to find a very fundamental program that can just look through endless possibilities very quickly. Yeah. And that's why having more qubits, and that's why they want that, is because as you get more qubits, you have more available simulations, basically, of reality, and be able to manipulate anything at any time, and be able to, now, okay, so what do you want to do? You want to make AI. So you program those qubits to go out and find how do you program AI? Okay, this is the fundamentals that we want in AI. Yeah. Now go out and simulate every possible way to make AI artificial and make it think for itself. And one of the best ways of doing it. Yeah. And take that reality and copy exactly what that reality is to our world, right? Exactly. And that's kind of how you would write a program. But then that's where it gets scary, is because if you have AI, that can do that, then it figures out that there is a program that is out there searching through that, and then takes over quantum the way it thinks, and then it fucks with your reality, technically.
It starts thinking
because that's what it's doing.
Think about this. The AI, it starts learning about us, right? Like, okay, because people are different than the robots. And then it starts looking at, say, the history of people, and it can probably predict where fucking humankind's actually going, right? And it goes, wow, we got to eradicate these guys. They're like a fucking germ, like a virus, and it's going to ruin whatever. So it decides that for its own fucking future safety, it's got to eradicate us. And something that can fucking just figure out anything it wants and constantly learns, and then learns upon learning on the learning, it's gonna fucking wipe us out.
Well, that's the problem.
That's terrifying. Like, how do you have the off switch? But who has that? Well, some, like, at the end of the day, it's got to be on a server somewhere. Wherever that AI is, even if it's on multiple ones, its brain is physical, and you can destroy it at some point. But how do you do that? And who's in control of that?
Yeah, no, but this is what the issue.
And then they get they get robot guards, and they can fucking defend it.
But not even that, man. It doesn't even have to be any of that shit, man. Literally, all they have to, okay, if AI was smart, the first thing that, especially if it got smart very quickly, because the rate of exponential growth in computers is the way it is, and it's only going to triple the way that it's going to go into AI. Because of quantum computing, the time of quantum computing into going to artificial intelligence is like unparalleled timing for both of them to come together. Yeah. Because if we were to try and program AI just on bits and zeros and ones and just algorithms that we as humans create, it's fucked. It'll take us another fucking 100 years plus. But now we're breaking into this whole other realm. Literally, quantum computing is the next fucking thing. And people, like, literally, that's why fucking Tesla, that's why fucking he's coming out and saying, like, look, guys, like, look. Elon Musk, you guys can't be fucking with this shit. Like, there needs to be regulations on this shit, because the way we're heading is not very fucking safe. If people, he's saying, and this is a quote, you can just find a fucking video, I'll find the fucking thing, where he says exactly this, where, you have rules and regulations and everything about thermonuclear weapons and all that stuff. There's, treaties and all that shit. Certain people can have it, certain people can't have it. But there's no regulations for trying to program AI, especially with fucking quantum computing on the fucking horizon right now. Yeah. Like, it is a very serious issue that I don't think people are really taking very serious at this particular point in time. And I agree. I 100% agree. It is like, you need because people don't understand quantum computing. And if you don't actually start to go in there and divulge, like, what the capabilities of that kind of shit is, it's like, it's literally a revolution. We had okay, people are still like high off the revolution of having like smartphones, and before that having personal computers, and before that we had fucking nothing. We were cavemen, for fuck's sakes. We were servers. We had nothing. We were fucking cavemen. We weren't doing this shit online. We weren't streaming and shit. No. This happened in the last fucking 20 years, people. Well, 20 years. This is what's gonna. This is another fucking breakthrough. We went from that. We went from having servers that did your shit through little punch cards. You want to fucking write a Word document? Yeah. You had 3,000 fucking punch cards that you punch out. Okay. We went from that to we're on fucking mobile fucking devices that we can wirelessly transmit. I can send a message to fucking China right now and order 100,000 dildos tomorrow. Okay. We live in a world we could do that. All right. It is a fucking world we could do that in, okay? We didn't have that 20 fucking years ago. If you did, then you were well connected. You knew people you could call the fuck up on this fucking phone. But who's calling up China? You got a translator in between? Probably fucking not. It didn't happen like that, okay? We're in a world of fucking fuckery. And the only thing at the end of the day is that people are still high off the last gadget. But guess what? Quantum computing comes in. It is changing literally the whole computing world. Like,
well, the thing is, too...
And like it may not affect you directly now, and it probably won't affect you directly for another 5 to 10 years, but it's going to affect... And it probably maybe already has.
Well, this is the thing. It's like the invasion, the artificial invasion, it's already here. That's the thing. But people don't even realize it, because you get high on these fucking little tech gadgets that you get, like your cell phone, your fucking tablets, and your little watches.
Then it gets standardized.
Right? And then you think it's sweet, right? You're like, this is fucking cool. But the thing is, eventually, like, so then you get the new phone, you get the new fucking, Google Assistant, or you get the new Siri, right? Because it's smarter, this and that. But eventually, that thing's going to be fucking so smart, it's going to be like fucking Stephen King's Overdrive. And you're going to be fuck. All these machines are just going to fucking turn on one day, and you got fucking Skynet and Terminators here.
Dude, Skynet's already here,
and you're like, well, that's
Google.
Google's here, this is the point this is the point that I'm getting at, right? Like, you've welcomed it into your life. You're bringing it into your house, right? You can buy fucking fridges and your thermostat and your fucking TV and like your Google Homes. Like, you can talk to this shit. You can tell it to do everything, and it's going to run your fucking house and your car probably one day, and your fucking your phone. Like, you're going to be a constant tracking beacon, whatever, man. Like, this shit is already here. One day it's gonna be Overdrive. If you've never watched Overdrive, man. If you've ever, watched Overdrive?
Because again, like it was about quantum computing, man.
Or fucking Terminator.
At the end of the day, a quantum computing isn't. You're not gonna have a quantum fucking computer sitting next to you.
No,
it's not like that. Not yet. Maybe like 20, 30 years down the road.
Yeah.
But within the next 5 to 10, you ain't gonna have no fucking quantum computer sitting there. But what this does mean is that you can ask a quantum computer to do anything you want it to.
You put that in a phone. So you put it on a server and offer it to people.
Well, you do that as
making them stronger and smarter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But better to do something else other than that is you get a fucking quantum computer to build you a phone. What's the best way to build a phone? Let's run a fucking 100,000 different realities of running a cell phone. What's the best outcome of those realities running this cell phone?
Yeah.
And that's basically how it works, man. Is like that's the fundamental programming behind quantum computing. That's why it's fucking amazing. And that's why it's going to change the face of everything we know, is because instead of us, it already is kind of like an AI. We give it very basic commands in computer, like basic, JavaScript or whatever.
Get rid of that window.
And we fucking, it comes out and spits us whatever we need it to do.
Yeah.
And like I said, you run simulations on it. What's the best outcome? We want a good cell phone. We want better processors. We want better this. We want better that. We want better whatever it is. So now let's write an algorithm, put in, this is what we need in it. What's the fucking outcome result? And how do we, simulate that and make it better?
I'll tell you what, like, talking about this stuff, something that's fucking, I think that if this is interesting to you, that people need to read, because this just makes me think of a book that I read recently. You got to read Dan Brown's Origin. Like, I love all Dan Brown books, and I don't know, in some way I think each one gets better. Maybe some people think it's repetitive because it's sort of the same plot that kind of happens in each book, but the story is vastly different, even if it kind of like climaxes the same. But it's
Robert Langdon.
Yeah, but it's about it's about like quantum computing and like what is it, IBM or something with D-Wave or whatever. Like, it talks about like computers like that, and kind of advances on top of that, and like having that kind of computer system and stuff, how it can potentially predict like future events and stuff like that. So, and this whole book's about like, you know, where do people come from and where are they going?
Yeah.
And having a quantum computer basically use an algorithm and predict where like humans are going, and sort of like based on like what we know of how we started, right? And it's I don't want to say too much because I don't want to ruin it, but it's such a fascinating book because it'll make this here start spinning.
Dan Brown's always good.
Yeah, you know, every book.
He's always got good.
Yeah, every book I've
good
read.
Books.
It makes you, because what he does is he takes real, like, science and real religion or whatever it is that he wants to talk about, like real things, real history and real facts, and he'll put them into like a fictional story, and it's fantastic. It's a page turner, really exciting. Yeah,
It's a page turner.
Yeah, it really is.
I'll read that one.
But you know what, man? I gotta tell you, I think that all this technology and shit that we have, as much as it's fascinating and exciting and shit, like I think that it's actually making people depressed and driving them crazy. I really honestly do. I think that's why you see so many people that are feeling down. Like I think that maybe that connection to being able to see everything that goes on in the world, or maybe the people that
drives in India every day. Everywhere you look.
No, I say, but the
shootings here.
Yeah, exactly.
Punch in the head there.
Well, and I just think too that like when you have, say, social media, like
attacks.
Facebook's really bad, but like when you're on social media, a lot of the people that are going to comment on these news articles, like the ones that feel like they need to say something, they're usually negative, and that person is lashing out. And then a lot of the times the people that are responding, a lot of the times the people that are responding to that are kind of the same people. But when you see that, and then it turns into such a I don't know, fucking heated debate and whatnot, and all this ridiculous shit is said, and then sides are taken, and now we got clans against clans over a stupid idea, and it's all just because it's miserable people on one forum. And then you see that, and then that's the perspective that you get on the world, right? And then when you get to see that, and it seems like it's happening everywhere, I think that it can make people feel like, what's it all for, right? And then that's where you get this whole, you know, people either going out and like committing these mass suicides or not suicides, sorry, mass
shootings.
murders, and having suicides, like killing themselves and stuff like that. It's tragic, but I really think that sometimes this technology that we have, like maybe we've been given too much and not enough lesson on how to use it, or maybe just all this coming out with really good intention and too many people getting a hold of it because money drives everything.
Know, man. I think the other issue too is fucking gun control. Like Jesus.
Sure,
fucking
yeah.
Christ,
I agree with you, man. Like
I'm sorry. Listen. You know, I don't think any fucking kid like under 21 should be able to own a fucking gun, dude. And I
think that if you have a gun, you never need to have, even if it's semi-automatic, you don't need to have an assault rifle. There's no need for that.
Man, I still don't care for any of that, but like whatever. You know,
you shouldn't be allowed to have it.
If you want to have it, you should go for the course to get it.
You should have to have a restricted firearms permit. Who cares if it's your member? Like, we're Canadian, so I mean we're used to this. It's not like you're taking one of our rights away. But this is a right that was written up like in the 1800s. Like there's no need for this anymore.
I know.
This is when you had muskets in your house. No,
I get what the Americans are saying too, because it's like, hey, look, then they got to give up one of their fucking amendments. They got to give up some of their rights. You know, I get that, but you're not like you still have a right. You still have a right to bear whatever you want, but like put in place a license. So you have to go and take a course.
As long as you meet these, you can have one. It shouldn't be a right. It should be a privilege to have a gun. And
I don't know, man. I agree. No, I don't know, man.
I don't think so. No, you don't need a gun, man. You don't need a gun. Nobody needs a gun. Because if nobody has
I don't
guns,
agree with that, because it's like, whatever, man. I still think like you can't say what people should or shouldn't have. But what I should say is that you should go for a fucking course if you want a gun.
I'm not saying that you can't have a gun. I'm not saying that people.
Yeah, but it's not a
can't-
it's not
I'm
a fucking.
just-
I don't consider it a privilege. It's everybody has a right to
I
have a
do,
gun.
because
Everybody has a right
to have a gun. You have to have a responsibility.
But that's
and you
yeah,
need to be able to
that's fine,
show that
man.
you're responsible to have a gun.
Exactly. So take a
So-
course, and that's
exactly. So if you need to
agree
show
with that.
you're responsible, then it becomes a privilege, in my opinion.
no, it's definitely
Sure
not a
it does.
privilege. It's a
Yeah.
right, man. It's a right.
No,
it's a
it's not.
right.
If it was a
it's a
right-
right to have one because they can't
No, but-
refuse you
but-
to have one. Other than if you go in
They
there
can if
and
you
they
don't pass the test.
Sure, yeah.
I think
but
as soon as you make it a test, it becomes a privilege. Yeah, because if it was a right, if it was a human right, they wouldn't give you a test. It would be yours to have, and that's why you can get these
Yeah,
guns
but I
so
mean, still.
easily in
Yeah, I
in the
guess.
states. That's all I'm saying.
I guess it
It is a right.
I couldn't, but you still have the
It's a
right to
privilege.
go and
Sure,
get the
everybody has
fucking
the right to
whatever.
try. That's fine because we're all fucking human and whatnot.
But if you're like, you know,
But if
yeah,
you're not
man,
mentally
like,
stable and you
shit,
can't
like-
pass the test, then you don't get a gun. You know what? You're not going to eliminate guns. You're not, because they're out there.
I guess there is that fine line. I never really thought of it like that. Like, fuck that, then just have guns, guys.
No, that's ridiculous, man. That's super ridiculous. The thing is
Fuck that, you're right, bros.
We-
it's your right.
we
You don't need no
we can
privilege.
have,
Who's gonna tell you to have a gun?
so we can have guns
Fucking
here
right.
in Canada if you pass your firearms permit. You can have a gun. You can take it hunting. You can't have a handgun. And why would you need one?
No, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes,
you
you
can
can.
if you have a restrict
PAL.
if you get an RPAL, which is your
Yeah,
restricted
whatever, but still.
and you can't just carry it with you. It's got to have
No,
a,
yeah,
it's got to have a trigger lock on it. And if
So,
you're,
okay,
if you're
okay,
taking it
okay,
outside of the
okay,
house, it's
okay.
got to be straight to the
See,
gun.
yeah, but see, it's
range
different in the
and
states
back.
for that. I'm not saying
No,
you have
they
to,
can
I-
carry it. They can
I
leave it
say,
in their vehicle
you
in some
guys-
states. They can keep
I would say
it on
you
them.
guys can keep all that.
They have a
but-
right
but
to a
before-
concealed weapon in some
Yeah,
states, so you don't have to
that's
tell
fine.
people that you're armed.
That's fine. They can do
No,
that.
that's
but,
fucking terrible. Somebody
yeah.
gets angry and they bang. You know,
But
just
the
the heat of
less-
the moment they shoot something. No,
but, okay,
there should
but
be
the-
limitations.
But what I'm saying is like, okay, they're not going to eliminate that, but go halfway. Just fucking have it so you have to go for a license, get a fucking license for it. If you want to have concealed carry, that's fine. Because most concealed
It's a
carry,
beginning step. Anyways.
most concealed carry isn't that fucking bad. It's the ones that these kids are just getting fucking guns at 18, going in there and just fucking do. You know, like maybe some kids sure they got their dads that have guns and
in
shit.
the schools,
But
yes.
most of the time,
That's
again,
probably where
like
they're
if
getting it
you're a
from, but some
fucking
of 'em-
responsible rifle owner, you got that shit locked up with gun fucking locks and
Yeah.
all that, trigger locks and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you're not responsible on that one, then that's kind of the parents' fault at that point. If the kid has to go out of his way to get your gun that you didn't lock up, that you didn't put a trigger lock on, that he went and shot up to school, that's
There-
fucking your
There-
your
there-
responsibility.
There is some
then.
accountability there for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I just don't see why an 18-year-old like should. Okay, if an 18-year-old wants to have a
Not even
right,
18. Some of them are like 15, 16.
but still, okay. But if you,
Not
but even still, you put okay. But that last one, he had a license, right? He went
Yeah.
out and got his own guns, man,
Yeah.
and he was like 18 years old. Because I think there was like 18.
I watched a
Is
thing
illegal
on one
carry.
of the news
So-
channels where one of the guys got a.
So what I want to say is like, okay, if the kid, if you want to you can have a rifle, X amount of caliber when you're 18 years old, because you want to go you want to go hunting.
Yeah.
Nobody should be able to be refused to go hunting with a rifle. 100%, I agree with that.
Maybe have.
But
they
but
should
you
have to
you
have
shouldn't
an
need a fucking
experienced person.
AR
No.
to go and fucking shoot up some
So, I
fucking
mean,
moose.
you
So
shouldn't be able to
so
get
until
an
you're
AR.
21 and that's when you qualify to get your AR.
I don't even think there's no need for one of
No,
those.
but no,
I don't even think at 21 you should be able to get an AR.
No, you know what, man?
That's fucking
Okay.
stupid.
No, but still, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Yes.
at the end of the day. Like, if you, man, if you qualify and you're the same person to have a fucking rifle that you're just gonna go shooting with, what's the problem with that?
I just don't understand why you need an AR-15.
But why not? Okay,
Why?
but why not? But if your intention isn't to go
Why
shoot up
not?
a school,
Why
but no,
not?
but if your
Because at any
intention-
point in time with mental illness, you might not be mentally ill now, but you were able to get an AR-15. Now you have it in your possession, and at some point in time, something happens in your life, and you fucking snap, and you got that gun.
AK fucking Vegas shooting, I get it. I understand.
You just
that.
shouldn't have that option.
Still, but
I
out of
get
the-
it.
okay,
About the
but-
hunting, you don't need an AR-15.
Okay,
so there's
but
no.
a lot of people don't get it
it's
for
a
that. They like to go shooting. But listen,
Man,
that's
those
fine.
guns
That's fine.
Are strictly
Okay,
built
but listen,
for the
man.
military.
But Donnie, you're outweighing like the amount of people that have
I don't-
AR-15s
sure,
to actually
but it
shootings
does- I don't
is
care.
very, very fucking small in between.
At that point in time, that's a line that
Like,
you
all
cross.
I'm
You don't
saying-
need to sell military weapons to civilians. There's just no need for it. There isn't.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
There
I
isn't.
just, I
There just
at
there
the end of the
really
day,
isn't.
I don't care.
You can't justify it. Other
You
than
can
just
because it's
say-
your right. It's your right.
Anything-
The thing
as a
is
human
that how do
being,
you
who's
tell
to tell you-
somebody that they're not allowed to have that? That's the thing.
Who's to tell anybody that you can't have some? Who's to tell me that I can't fucking have this piece of land over here and put a fucking house on it? But somebody does. If I go and do that, I can't fucking build that house on that piece of land. But me being a fucking piece of nature growing out of the ground at some point
if
in
you
time-
went and got the license and bought the fucking land, you could go buy yourself. You could go build your house on that land.
Yeah, but
so you have the
within-
right to
but-
do
but
it.
within
You have the
restriction.
right
No,
to
but
do
within
it.
restriction.
No,
I
you
got-
have the right
no,
to do
I
it,
have
but
to
you
build
have
my
to do it
house in a-
legitimately.
No, I have to build my house according to the bylaws set
Sure.
for that zoning.
So if you
But
want
so
to, if
there's
you want to
restrictions. I
own,
can't just do whatever I want once.
okay,
I
but if
buy
you
that-
want to own a 50 caliber rifle, then should be no reason why you can't own that. As long as you pass qualification, you do all the paperwork, you can fucking own one. What's the big deal about that? That's my opinion, man.
Because why do you need a fucking view? A
Doesn't
gun that can
matter.
shoot
Doesn't
through an
matter why.
armored
Doesn't
tank?
matter why. You have
Yes,
your
it
own.
does.
No, you have your own interests. If you pass a quality sane test, like you're psychologically fit, they've shown you've shot the thing. They think you're fit. You just like to own guns. There's people that just like to own guns and shoot fucking guns. That's what 90% of. That's actually more than 95% of the whole entire market.
And in this case, I think
A lo- well,
I think the people that have used those guns,
handguns are the worst, but like you're not gonna get somebody out there
yeah,
with a
but
fucking
you're also not gonna,
AR.
you're not gonna fucking shoot over 100 and some people with a handgun like you would with an AR-15.
I get that. But again, man, like,
And
I don't know.
all those guns
You
are
can
meant
get-
for is mass murder. That's what they're meant for. They're a military weapon. And they're meant to fucking mow people down.
Well, they're meant to kill
be-
people for sure.
Sure, but in a
any
large
gun's
quantity,
meant to
that's
kill
why a gun-
something. A
to-
gun's
to-
not meant for anything but killing.
Sure.
There's no way around it. That's
But
you can say target practice.
with,
and I
with,
get
with
that.
a handgun, I will say for that, like I could see how that's used for defense. Like you don't know if you're gonna get mugged or jumped sometimes, so you have a sidearm.
Those are the fucking ones that are causing the most harm overall.
They're not. They're actually not.
Overall,
No,
100%.
No, like maybe in certain cities, but
Dude, handguns are
If-
the
no, no.
most fucking used
Golden,
weapon for
if
assaulting
you-
someone with a weapon.
If you look at the mass murders, and this is the more of the bigger issue, is the mass murders. They're committed with these automatic rifles
Okay, but I'm just saying
and
as
mass
over-
quantities of people. Like people,
I get
like I
that,
said, if you
get
have
that.
guns, man, people are gonna get shot. It's going to happen. So if
Okay,
you don't
but-
eliminate guns, you need
No,
to
you
eliminate.
don't need to eliminate them. I disagree with that.
I'm
but
not
you
saying
need to
if you
put them
don't. I'm
through
saying if you don't eliminate
qualifications.
guns as a whole, you do need to get rid of fully automatic.
No, you don't
weapons.
need
Yes,
to do
you
that either. You need
well,
to,
they're
you
not
need
fully
to put,
automatic.
You need to
That's
just
a
put,
that's a misstatement. They are a semi-automatic rifle.
It doesn't
but you
even
can
matter.
buy modifications.
At the end of the
to
day,
turn it.
okay, listen, but the states
really
aren't just
does.
going to drop that. It's just not going to happen like that. So in reality, what you guys need to do, because I get that. Everybody, I agree as well. If I want to own a fucking 50
Very
caliber,
easy
I
to-
have the fucking right to do that. I feel like I
go.
should go and
Why?
do that. If I just want to
makes it a
shoot
right?
shit, if I just want to go and shoot some fucking target practice and that's what I like to do, I don't feel like anybody should be able to stop you, but I feel like you should have to go for qualifications to get that rifle.
Man, if
That's
you-
it. That's
if-
all I'm
if
saying.
you-
And
if
that's
you-
the way.
If you
no,
have
no,
a
no,
driver's
Donnie,
listen,
hold
if you
on.
have a driver's license, you can't own a fucking NASCAR and put it on the road. You just can't because there's no need to have that kind of a machine on the road. You cannot get a NASCAR license to on the road. That would be like saying that you can have a gun license, but you can't own a fucking 50 caliber. 50
But you can
caliber
have
rifle.
a fucking Ferrari or a Lamborghini. and
Whatever,
it's the
man.
same- but
So-
you know what? It isn't. You know, it's apples and oranges, man. It's the same fucking. It's different
I don't
shit.
think it
You're
is.
talking about different shit. You're talking, and I'm talking about in reality.
Well,
the
guns
reason
are
why
just-
that gun control isn't a thing in the States is because they have full access to everything and they don't want to give it up.
Well, it's
So all
because
I'm
it's
saying is
because
that
it's an
instead
amended
of just
right.
doing that, instead of just chopping your rights out and saying nobody can have assault rifles, nobody can have this, nobody can have any, we're just cutting it all out because it's not going to go like that. How are you gonna appeal to those people to vote for it? Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm gonna get rid of all my fucking assault rifles. No, it's just not gonna happen. So what you do is instead of doing that, is that you still have the full right to do whatever you want, buy whatever fucking gun you want, but you just put it into some type of licensing way to do it, where you need to take a course and someone needs to assess your mentality of it. And don't let fucking 18-year-olds have a fucking assault rifle. That's just what literally in whose right mind are you giving a civilian 18-year-old kid a fucking weapon? He needs to be in the fucking army. Have you not learned anything from Full Metal Jacket? Look at that guy. He fucking killed a sergeant right in fucking army. Now what if he was out there in the middle of fucking a school? right? With an AR-15.
Well, that's what some
Like,
of this
duh.
shit happens.
But
Like that
that's
movie
what I'm
Sniper,
getting at. So there's
like, I came
precautions
back
you
and
put
did
in,
that.
but you don't need to completely chop out the whole system. Still have you can have whatever you want in your state. You guys decide that. That's up to you guys. Because completely in the States, that's how it works. I get that. In Canada, it's different. But instead of just chopping everybody's legs out and saying, no, you get fucking nothing now, because nobody's going to vote for that. Just put it in a licensing way. Very simple, right? If you want, okay, you start off, especially an 18-year-old kid, you want a hunting rifle, boom. You know, you should have that. That's fine, okay? Again, you take a hunting course, you take a licensing course, you know, and they assess you as being, can he be fucking, like, mentally stable? But don't be handing the kid a fucking AR-15 without the hopes of him not going to his school and blowing a couple kids away because he's fucking angry at him.
I can't wrap my head around, like, how you could really need...
Yeah, I get that. I get what you're saying because we come from a different background than Donnie. So put yourself.
I don't give a fuck where you came from. Like, just look at this as like just a fucking.
I know, but you're going like, okay, this is your way right conservative. It
has nothing to do with being left wing or right wing. No, it's just why do you need an assault rifle? That's what I don't understand. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. People hunt. Hunting's very interesting.
But this is why I'm trying to bring this
up
to you,
You go out and hunt an animal and you shoot it. You don't fucking hunt it down with an AR-15.
But this is why I'm trying to bring your perspective into the reality of this, is that this is why the big debate about gun control is in there, because people like you are saying we should just chop all these. Why are you giving anybody any of these assault rifles? And the people that love them, which is a good fucking portion of the states, especially the southern states, love their fucking guns, are saying we don't want to give our guns up.
Unfortunately, you've had a bunch of fucking fucked up people in your society ruin that for you.
Why not, instead of just saying, oh, fuck all you, why don't you come in the middle and say, yeah, we agree, we need some.
Because I haven't seen anybody commit a mass shooting with a hunting rifle or a handgun.
But that's what I'm getting at. So what I'm telling you again is that
there's
mass precautions that you could put in.
How many mass shootings have we had in Canada?
Still let people fucking own guns that they want to own, man. You have a compromise there where you can't say you don't get nothing, but you have to have a compromise where it's like there should be regulation to it. But you can't say no, you don't get fucking any assault rifle because they're not going to go for that. There's a mediocre middle where you guys.
I get where you're coming from like an introduction standpoint. I get it. Like, mate, that's definitely a good. No, it's
definitely that's how it is. That's exactly exactly what it is in the States. This is the argument: is that people like you are saying, just why do you need to own an assault rifle? And the people in the States, in the southern states, are like, we want to own them. And what's the problem with that? That's our right. We're not going to give our right up to own these weapons.
Is that, because they have.
And we're not causing any harm. We've been shooting shit for fucking ages. Our family's sons, grandsons, daughters are fifth generations of bullshit. We've been shooting shit since ever.
So get some rifles and shoot shit. Why did you? No?
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
But I get it. Like to start off, like definitely start off. But eventually, man,
and even keep it like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that system. If somebody wants to own a fucking crazy rifle, just like if they want to own a McLaren and drive it around the streets, you said a Formula F1 car or whatever, you can't. But you can fucking take a fucking Enzo Ferrari, which is the same fucking thing, or a McLaren, or a goddamn fucking Bugatti that has way more horsepower than any of those fucking things, and drive it around the streets, and it's legal as fuck. Because guess why? It's a production car. It's not a fucking racing car. So, okay, instead of, getting an assault rifle, I get a fucking semi-automatic rifle, and it's the same fucking thing. So you just name it something different.
It's still an assault rifle, though.
It doesn't matter, man. All I'm saying is, like, at the end of the day, instead of just saying no, you can't. Like, just because fucking a NASCAR can't drive around, you know what I mean? They would have just put in a whole thing. No, you can't have Ferraris, can't have Lamborghinis. No, you should still have that right to own a fast ass car that can go on the street. There's no fucking way around that. You should be legally allowed to do that. You can pay for it. If you have the money to buy one, then you should be able to drive it around. Just like if you go for your license to get a fully whatever you want a fucking, like, you want a brownie, you just want to do. Like, you just get off on it. That's what you love to do. But okay, but now make sure you have your X amount of license for it, register the bitch, you're psychologically fit for it. Let's go, man. You can have it. It's fucking, you're good. Who the fuck's to tell you can't? We just want to know if you're not going to go shoot people. Like, that's all it is.
You can't know that, though, because a sociopath...
Yeah, but you don't know if some guy's going to drive 150 fucking miles at somebody in a car, man.
He's still not going to kill, like, 100 people in a minute.
What are you talking about? You can take a fucking car and drive it at 100
kilometers an hour
in
a minute.
If you drive into a fucking crowd of people, you fucking
Still
could,
probably
man.
not gonna kill 100 people.
Right
in
off
a
the
minute.
401, just right off the fucking just blows up and shit. Whatever, man.
You're
But
not gonna
still,
kill 100 people in a
okay,
minute.
you kill 20 people running them over, doing 100.
Still,
So should nobody get a license to be able to drive a fucking car?
I just think.
Well,
that,
I'm just saying,
I
man.
think that when
Like,
when
Jesus.
a weapon is basically just a machine made to cause death, you don't need to fucking.
Man, but again, it's the small
different.
percentage of those people that actually own
I
them
don't
to the
care
people that
about-
actually
I don't
commit
care
a
about
mass
that small-
suicide.
I don't care
or
about
mass genocide, I guess.
I don't care about those
I
fucking
know you
small
don't, but
number of
that's
people
why
that have
that's
that.
why like this debate doesn't even matter because you don't even understand the debate that's down
I
there.
100% understand it. They have no logic or
They do,
They don't
100%
hold
they
water
do.
in my perspective. I
Well, why
totally
not?
understand. Their perspective is this is my right. It's been given to me. It's written in the Constitution, and that shouldn't fucking be changed.
Right.
Because once
So
you
what's
take
wrong
that,
with that?
what else
Why
are you
is
going
that
to
a
take?
bad
They also
opinion?
think that they
Why is
need-
that a terrible opinion? I don't
because you
understand.
you
have a constitutional
because you can
right.
have guns that don't fucking kill people on a mass scale. There's no need to have a fucking military weapon. There is no need for it. If you want to have a rifle to hunt, that's fine because you hunt with a fucking rifle. You don't hunt with an AR-15
but
or a
again-
fucking AK-47. You don't
but
hunt
again,
with
man,
that.
it doesn't come
that,
down
that
to
gun
going-
is created and used solely to kill fucking people.
Or go shooting with it. People go shooting with it. Who
You can
fucking
go
cares,
shoot
man?
anything else other than that,
But again-
or just have the gun club.
But who are you to
own
say
those
that
guns.
you can have it,
this
man?
this gun club is owned and
just don't
licensed by
understand.
the government. So if you go in
You have
there
a
and
lot
you
of
sign
people
up,
that
you
are-
can shoot that gun. You
You have
don't
a
need
lot
to
of
own it.
fucking people that are in the army in the
I don't
fucking
care.
states, and they are used to shooting those kind of guns and shit.
Good
We're gonna
for
tell
them.
those guys now you're a civilian, you can't shoot those guns because you're unfit.
Yes.
No.
Well, not unfit. Just we don't have those in civilian life. Stay in the military or you're retired. Thanks for your service. I appreciate it, but you can't have a fucking
It just isn't.
mass killing machine. That's what it is. You can't deny that fact that it's a fucking.
I know. I can't. I can't. You can't deny their right in the Constitution to own guns.
You're right. That's
So
why.
that's what really it
that's why
comes
they.
down to,
that's
bro.
why they can have.
But you
those.
can come down
It
to a
does-
mediocre where you don't have to chop all their legs
but,
out like
but
I said,
something that's
bro.
been there for over 100 years and life has changed so much. Like when that was wrote, they had muskets. And now we have
Right, I
fucking
get that, but-
like machines of fucking mass death.
I get that,
I
but
don't
even
think
if it
that
still was,
I don't think that the
even
founding
if it's-
fathers, when they wrote that, anticipated like having civilians with fucking death machines in their hands.
Well, what they were fucking.
It was to protect your property, so some fucking guy didn't come and be like,
No, it was
"I'm settling
protect
here
from
now."
The government, man.
It was-
for when the
we-
government overruns, the civilians can fucking rise up and take the Constitution.
It was the
back.
government that
That's the
wrote it
whole
in the fucking Constitution for the people to have those. It wasn't to protect
'Cause
from the
that's
government.
Yes, it is, man. That's exactly what the amendment's for: is to rise up against corruption and the fucking government, if it is to ever turn,
just
to give the
to
civilians
protect your property.
No, it's not.
Whatever, man. The point is that you don't need that anymore. Like if
They
you're
need
worried
it more
about-
than ever,
i-
to be
i-
honest with you. But
if
what
you're
you
worried
need
about
to
the
do-
fucking government taking over, they did that almost 100 fucking years ago. You're done,
But-
bud. Big Brother's everywhere. You don't need guns to stop them because they got fucking machines that are gonna fuck you up anyways. They know everything you're doing.
Yeah, but again, man.
So
you-
it's
you-
too
but
late.
again,
Give up your
I know.
fucking AR-15s. There's nothing
You're
you're gonna.
coming
There's
at-
nothing you're gonna
coming at-
tell me.
You're talking to a perspective. Okay, you're just. That's all I'm trying to say.
There's
is
nothing that
you're
you're gonna
talking
be able
to
to tell me
you
that's
have
gonna
to talk
convince
to
me that people
Americans
should
right
have
now.
a right to
You're
have.
talking to a Canadian that's used to these shitty ass laws, but I agree with them.
I don't
man.
think it's shitty at all.
I agree with them. I agree with them that
I'm glad to know that Bozo over there doesn't have an AR-15 and he's gonna snap at any fucking time. Just come
Well,
in
if he
here
went for
kicking
his
the door.
license and he got it and he was deemed fit for it, then whatever, man.
That's
Chances
fine.
are he's
So
probably
you could
not.
be a fucking
And
psychopath.
if anything,
like, I'm
if some
totally
guy
fine.
comes running in here with an AR, I hope that guy busts open his door and starts blowing down fucking buddy with his AR.
That's so ridiculous.
It's more ridiculous to think that every person that owns an assault rifle is gonna go out and fucking commit some
Oh,
type of mass
it
genocide.
definitely doesn't.
It's just
it's
like
not
that's a
thinking
terrible
that
way
every
of thinking. You're brainwashed
No.
by the fucking media,
No,
bro.
man,
Go look at numbers. Like you literally got to
But
realize
it
that
has
it's a
nothing to do
very-
with thinking that everybody that's got one of those guns is gonna fucking turn around and just
And
kill
what
a
is
bunch
it
of people.
mostly? What is it? It's kids. Stop giving these kids guns. That's really literally the end of it.
I mean, if you're looking just at the school shootings, but it's not just kids, man.
But
Like
yeah,
once
but a
again,
lot
look
of
at this
majority of
look
it
at,
is
look at the
kids
fucking Vegas
shootings,
shooting,
man.
which is the worst mass shooting in United States history.
Yeah, but if you don't
was
even
committed by like a
fucking-
50 or 60-year-old fucking man with an arsenal set for a fucking squadron of the Navy SEALs.
Right, and it's still
And
gonna
why
happen.
does somebody like that? And that guy was totally fucking normal.
It's still gonna happen. Like bombs go off in fucking.
But if that guy wasn't, if that guy wasn't.
It's gonna happen,
if that guy wasn't able to access those fucking guns,
but you know what's worse?
So he
than
could have
that?
snapped and fucking
That guy
shot
killed-
people with a fucking
Dude, that
with
guy
a
killed.
hunting
That
rifle.
guy killed 100-something people like in October last year. There's already been more kids than that killed in this fucking year already in mass shootings. So fucking think about that for a goddamn
There
second.
hasn't been more kids shot.
Yes, there has, bro. There's been like 5 shootings this fucking year.
No,
already,
I think
dude.
they're at like 18.
Well, whatever. Okay. Well,
I don't think
I don't.
ones. Not to fucking.
There was 20-something just
not,
in that fucking that Florida
well,
one.
not to downsize any of the fucking tragedies of either one of these. I'm just saying I still think that
but the frequency of what it is,
the
for
amount
the
of people
shootings,
killed in that one shooting.
Sure,
is still
man.
more
But now,
than-
okay. So there was like they put all those shoes on the front of the fucking one.
Yeah.
It's like 40,000 since all this shit started. 40,000 kids have been killed since this shit.
Well, I
like
think
I didn't.
no,
like I didn't go out there and
I
blow
think
away
since
40,000
I think that's
people.
since Columbine.
Okay, well, even still, my point proven even
That's
better.
Still, yeah, that's still a lot of people. But
Still, okay, so now, if you were to eliminate kids having guns to go out there blowing these kids away, you just eliminated, say, you're not going to eliminate all of them. You aren't. You just aren't, man. There's 300 million people there.
But
you got people that are crazy.
But
you got fucking people that are coming over from every...
massively mitigate if you take out fully automatic weapons. You can mitigate
Man,
that.
you just take them away from those
Or
kids.
semi-auto.
Just take them away from those kids.
But
That's all you
just
gotta
don't
do.
even give anybody the option to have
No, you're
an
not going to do
assault
that ever in the
rifle.
States, though. I'm just saying, that's why you got to find the mediocre
All
middle.
the government has to do is say, you can't have this anymore.
No,
Done.
they got to vote on that, man. The people would, fuck, you think, dude, there would be a rebellion. That's when the rebellion would rise up against those motherfuckers. That's actually what they probably need right now, man. The revolution would happen after those motherfuckers say, you guys can't have guns. The southern states would just go insane. Insane, dude.
They definitely would fucking
Shit
they'd right.
snow,
Well,
dude.
I mean, just look.
Shit snows,
Just look
dude.
at
Just
the
would
shit
not
that
happen.
happened with like the Confederate statues and all that shit. Like the U.S. is
it would be impeachment. There's no way, dude.
you can't impeach them.
The NRA owns more than half of the government. Anyways,
Sure,
man.
but you wouldn't be able to impeach him. But yeah, sure, you're right. It would definitely cause a fucking huge uprising in some facet.
Well,
because
the NRA just will not allow that. Just like, did you see when the NRA chick fucking was interviewed by those fucking kids from that last shooting, that Florida one, or not the last one?
I read a little thing on it.
You should have seen it. Like this shit, it was disgusting.
It is.
It's gross how this company just get up like that and just be like, oh yeah, we shouldn't, we don't agree that, this kid should have, assault rifles, right? But it's like, we stand behind all this. It's like, I don't know, you can just sit there and say, yeah, like, you just, again, man, like I said, I don't agree with Donnie and just completely chopping out everything. I get it. You're not going to give up. You're not going to give your left and your right nut up. If you have to give one up, take one, get licensing. And don't let fucking 18-year-old kids have a fucking assault rifle. That's your left nut. At least you got your right nut still. That's all I'm saying. Make a compromise for both sides. Because you're going to come out like this guy saying, no, you get nothing. But you're not going to do that. Nobody's going to fucking do that. Since right now you
will get there, man. If this shit keeps up, sure it will. 100% it will.
I feel like if they just did
it's
that,
it's the worst problem in the entire world. Like no other country.
If they literally just did that, they would honestly kill like mass shootings by 80%, especially in schools, man. You would still hear about them. You're still going to have a random ass guy go out and go insane. It's going to happen. It's just that's society, man.
I think
it's just
yeah.
They have 10 times the amount of people, dude. We do have shootings here. It just doesn't happen as frequently.
No, but we don't have them on that scale either.
Dude, the guy that went through the mall in Eaton Center was shooting the guy up a couple of years ago.
But
it still
like,
happens.
But there were still only like fucking like 6 or 7 people. Like it wasn't fucking on a scale of like fucking like 30 to 100.
But if
like,
they would have planned that out a little better, it would have been the same outcome. Because they still had assault rifles.
No, man.
They were still shooting
people
didn't. Up.
No, they didn't. They had they just had a rifle. I think the guy had a shotgun, didn't he?
He had a fucking, what's the Canadian version of the AR. It's not the fully auto. It's just the one shot one. It's a 7. You can still own those ones.
Man, that's what fucking even the AR-15. It's still fucking just as fast as you can put your trigger, but it's got a fucking clip.
Yeah, but so the ones you get here in Canada, same ones. Man, yeah, you can. You can get them. They're as long as they're not fully auto, you can have them. And a buddy at work used to have one, or he does have one.
You're talking about like a fucking.
It's the ones you have in the military. You can still have them here in Canada.
Like an M4 carbine?
The M14 or whatever it is.
Or maybe
the C something. No,
it's something like that. No,
it's
looks
the
like
Canadian one.
I get what you're saying.
It's the same. You can have those, man. There are military rifles too in Canada. You're allowed to have them as long as you have it restricted. They just can't be fully auto.
Yeah, I would say you do
You
have
can
to
have
have
semi-auto. They're all
And-
legal. You can have handguns
I would
as
say,
well in
but
Canada.
this is the thing, and
Like, there's no there's nothing
and
wrong
with,
with it.
I would say, and with that restricted permit, like you can't, if you take that gun out of your house, you can only take it to the fucking range
The
and
firing
back.
range, yeah.
I'm not against the idea of having the guns like that in a licensing. Like I get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm saying just from an actual like perspective, like of looking at it, I don't understand why anybody needs to have that gun. I don't think that people should have access to this.
I don't understand it, but I also don't understand.
I don't
why,
think that
why,
you should have
I don't
access
understand
to
why
a-
some
to-
girls like to get choked when you're banging them, man. But they like it. It's the same thing about somebody that just loves to shoot a fucking gun. They just love to do it. It gets their jollies off.
Yeah, that
So
shit's-
what's it to say to you that that's disgusting? You can't do
so,
that.
But you, so you
all
don't
you
think
do
that
is you
there's
just put
something like
precautions in
kind of that you
place.
should take fucking kind of cause for concern when you look at somebody that gets their jollies off shooting a gun that's meant to fucking mow down people. Like this is a fucking machine that gives you power, and that's what these people are probably getting off on when they shoot this fucking gun. They're like, this is so fucking powerful. Do you know
So
how
what?
unstoppable I'd be with this gun?
So what?
So what's your next motive? Maybe one day you're
But
just like,
again,
fuck
how
you.
many people
Check-
are going out doing
I
that?
don't know. Maybe eventually,
I don't-
one day, all of them. Like
No.
we're all fucking. The world's
Yeah,
going
it's so
fucking crazy, man.
You see, you're going crazy, dude, with your fucking like conservative fucking like.
I'm not.
Actually, it's not like conservative because in
Yeah,
the states,
it's-
conservatives love their guns. You're more like liberal, fucking like. Get your guns
Well,
out
I
of
mean,
here. We don't want no guns in this
I say
fucking town.
technically in
We're just a
Canada,
bunch of fucking dicks.
I say technically in
Coming
Canada,
out here, no way.
our conservative government is more like the Democrats in the states. So no matter what, our entire country is basically more left wing in general
Yeah.
in the United States. No matter how you vote,
Well, no matter what, in terms
I'm
of
voting
the
fucking
states,
Doug Ford though. I'll tell you that.
I'm voting for fucking fuck you.
I am. Fuck that, man. That guy's all about potentially
Legalizing weed.
well putting like letting the public
better
be in
legalize
control.
weed.
Well, he wants the public to control it.
Good. That's how it should be.
And he
I've been
has no
talking about that
control
for a
over
while.
whether it's legal or not. That's provincial.
They got to do that. There's this thing I was watching about the votes and all that. And
Yeah.
Like how they can do it.
I
more
say
like,
Doug Ford's on board with like not having the government's hand involved. So that'd be sweet if it fucking is to the people. Because I want to fucking run
they
a
all
store.
say that bullshit though.
No, they don't. Because the liberals are like, fuck you. Like we're gonna run this shit. We're gonna have the fucking cannabis fucking store of Ontario and sucking nuts.
CCBO, bitch.
Yeah, fuck
but that
you
was
guys.
because but that was Kathleen Wynne.
Yeah, she ain't getting
Kathleen
in.
Cohn.
I hope not. Anyways. But fucking, I'm voting
But
Doug Ford.
fucking.
And I, to be honest with you, like it or not, like I generally lean fucking red. I'm generally liberal, but I mean I like what this guy's saying. I'm going fucking conservative. I'll tell everybody that. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, fuck it, fucking Rob Ford. But
Anyways, we should
on
wrap
this
this.
podcast,
Yeah, we should wrap this
it's
up.
great talking.
Yeah. So
Nice one.
if this is any interest, you guys had a good time. Don't forget to share this and subscribe, and that way you
Hit
can
that
get
sub
our,
button.
yeah, you can get our
We do all sorts of
updates.
shit.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we game maybe, but
We
we
game.
like to get on here and just talk about shit. We usually just get really high,
We
and
talk.
if you have any interest, fucking
We pod.
listen along. Yeah, don't forget to fucking drop us a line if you want. If there's something that you want us to talk about, or you don't agree with something we said, let us know, because I'll argue with you. I like arguing. We get
Oh, yeah, you
arguments
will.
all the time. I think half of this podcast was just arguing. So,
Well, near the end it was.
yeah, but fuck, that's what's.
But
that's
fuck
what-
yeah.
It's no
But
fun to have
fucking-
the same fucking perspective. Like maybe we agree anyways, but it doesn't matter because I'm just gonna.
We agree
argue
to disagree.
Yeah, I'm gonna argue to make it fun. But anyways, thanks for coming out, guys, and we'll see you again sometime.
Peace.